It's fiery, spicy, and red hot. It can also be found in some unexpected places. It gives food a certain kick, but have you ever wondered about the chili that spices up your favorite chicken wings? On this field trip, we'll turn up the heat and explore the world of red chili peppers.
Field Trip is made possible by Cooperative Extension Service at New Mexico State University and by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Did you know there are about 26 different species of chili peppers? Some range from mild to scorching hot, but they add more than just the heat to certain foods. They add color and flavor. Americans are consuming more chili peppers than ever. Our demand for spicy food has increased the production of chili over the last few decades. The chilies that are produced will venture from fields to processors, spice producers, retailers, and finally chili enthusiasts throughout the country.
I like chili. It not only is chili, does it taste good, it's good for you. You know, it's high in vitamin A. The red chili is so high in vitamin C.
Well, certainly I love chili. It's very healthy, it's delicious. I eat it with every meal I have.
When you have chicken, you have chicken. And if you always put the same spice on the same chicken, it's always going to taste the same way. And it's nice to have a variety of different things that you can try out because each spice gives it some different flair. It's just completely a new dish.
The chili pepper originated in South America and can be traced back to prehistoric times. As the Americas were explored by the Spanish and Portuguese, chili peppers quickly traveled through trade routes. In Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and Africa, the appeal of spicy peppers spread and became an important ingredient in many different food cultures. Today in the United States, we enjoy red chili in everything from chicken wings to enchiladas.
Well, chili peppers originated in South America, probably around the Bolivia area. And then for many thousands of years, actually millions of years, birds dispersed chilies around South America and brought them to North America. And then when humans came to colonize the Western Hemisphere about 10,000 years ago, it was one of the very first crops that was domesticated by humans, and probably as a medicinal plant and then as a food plant. And humans are the ones that made all the different shapes and colors that you see. And so it was human selection that brought us all the different chilies. And actually chilies are native to the Western Hemisphere, and it wasn't until Columbus's first voyage to the Western Hemisphere that chilies were discovered and taken to Europe, and then the explorers and traders moved it into Africa and Asia. It's hard for people to realize that chilies weren't in Asia until after Columbus. It was really native to the Western Hemisphere.
Chili peppers have quite a history, especially here in the Southwest. And that history is reflected in every spicy bite.
They're not completely sure how chili seed was introduced to the Rio Grande Valley into New Mexico. Some researchers think that Indian tribes traded the seed up and down the river corridor. Others feel that the Spaniards brought it up when they came up from the south. But chili has been grown here for hundreds of years in New Mexico. Farmers around here started growing chili. It was embraced by local growers. It grew very well here. We have a very hot climate, but a well-established chili plant can really thrive in the conditions we have here. Very long growing days, warm temperatures, long season. The industry really took off when the processing plants built here. We had major outlets that need to be fed by chili growers here in New Mexico. Since then, that has gone down a bit. We have lost some acres as some of the processing plants have left. We still have the largest chili processing plants in the world right here in the state, and our chili growers absolutely grow the best chili that you can find anywhere in the world.
Chilies are very unique. No other food has the same spicy kick. So what makes a chili pepper hot?
What makes chili hot? Well, chili, a member of the capsicum genus, make very unique chemical compounds of the general class capsaicin. And there's a couple dozen of these various chemicals that actually interact on a person's tongue the same way the heat response would. So actually the capsicums are actually burning the tongue. And depending on the level of these various chemicals that the chili is producing in the placenta of the fruit, that will result in how hot the chili is perceived to the person eating it.
Oh, in the early 1900s, they had to come up with a way to measure chili heat. And so this fellow named Wilbur Scoville, who worked for a pharmaceutical company making a pharmaceutical cream out of capsaicin, said, well, what I'm gonna do is gonna be a dilution number. If you take a dilution of chili powder, that will be the heat levels. For example, if it takes a 10,000 to 1 dilution before you don't taste any heat, that's a 10,000 Scoville heat unit. If it only takes 1,000 to 1 dilution, it'll be a 1,000 Scoville heat unit. So we have these numbers, and the hottest chili we know in the world is the Buchalopia at about 1 million. The pure chemical itself is about 16 million Scoville heat units. So we have a long ways to go in making chilies hotter from 1 million to 16 million.
So many people think if you get up a chili pot and you take those seeds out, you've removed the heat. That's where the heat is, and that's not true. The heat is actually in the vein of the chili. Most chili pots have 2 veins. Every now and then you'll come across one that'll have 3, and that's where the heat is, in that vein. Because the seeds are stuck to it sometimes or close to it, they do have heat coming from the vein, but the heat's in the vein.
Chili peppers are more complicated than you think. There are many plant varieties that have been bred to produce peppers with specific traits like heat and flavor.
So we're standing in a field of paprika type chili. Most of this chili that we're picking today is for color extraction purposes. This ends up as makeup, blush, different food colorings and things like that, it's hypoallergenic. And that's one of the reasons that this chili is treated a little bit differently than a food type chili.
As far as chilies we use the whole gambit. We start with the milds, which we would call a long red mild is the staple for the southern New Mexico, West Texas, grown throughout and what most people know about. We deal with that. We also use all the way up to habanero. So everything in between, you've got anchos, pasillas, guajillos. There's tons and tons of chilies. There's 144 different kinds of chilies in Mexico alone. And we try to carry all of them.
It takes a lot of work to get these red chili peppers out to you, the consumer, and it all starts with the seed in a field.
Planting season for red chili usually starts around the 1st of March. Sometimes in late February, if the weather is being cooperative, we'll start planting early. The chili is a very long season crop because here we are in the middle of November and we're just now getting harvested. In that, we've gone through the planting, we've gone through the thinning stage where we let the plant get up to about 6 inches and established and strong enough that we could go in and we can take out any excess plants that we don't need as a final product.
Most of the growers don't transplant chili. It's a very expensive process. When we're doing breeding material, however, it takes a long time to get a large quantity of seed. Oftentimes in these breeding lines, it's not even worth building up your quantity of seed. So with just a very small amount of seed, you can quickly make a large number of transplants. So what we were doing out there is each plot was a different breeding line. We started the seed in the greenhouse, so we get the highest number of plants out of the amount of seed we had for each breeding line. And then we'll do our various yield and quality comparisons on this material to see which breeding lines warrant further investigation, further fine-tuning.
Chili farmers depend on the land for their crops to grow. They must be conscious of how they utilize their resources.
Well, a big portion of the chili in New Mexico now is grown on what we call subsurface drip irrigation. Each one of these rows of chili has a irrigation tape that's about 7 inches underneath it, and each one of them has an emitter about every 12 inches that just drips water out. Most of this chili in New Mexico now is irrigated roughly about 1 acre inch every 3 days. It's a crop that takes quite a bit of water, but it's in a short period of time, and with the drip irrigation, we're doing it very efficiently. Our yields are going to be between 3,500 and 4,000 pounds to the acre, which is a very good yield for red chili. Being machine picked and having yields like that can be profitable.
A healthy plant is the key to growing a great chili pepper, so farmers are constantly looking for ways to prevent disease and pests from destroying their crops.
Some years when there's not much to eat in the desert and the populations are high, rabbits can really wipe out chili fields. Quail are another issue. You can fence out rabbits to some degree, but quail just jump right over the fence. Some years rodents, if the rodent populations, once again, if the populations are high and there's nothing to eat out in the desert for them, well, they're going to find their way to your chili.
After the summer growing season, the chili peppers will reach their peak and turn a deep red color. Now they're ready for harvest.
Right here behind me is a Bayes chili harvester built in Saginaw, Michigan. It's one of the machines that we feel does the best job in the harvest. Its picking mechanism is actually counter-rotating double helixes that are hydraulically driven. As the machine travels down the row, the chili actually flows in through here. These fingers grab the chili and help it into the machine, where the counter-rotating double helixes actually remove the chili from the plant. As long as the plant's pliable as it is today, we don't get much of the stick material in the chili. After we've had a freeze, it wasn't a real hard frost. We do have some of the dry stalks that are getting by, but not as bad as it will be, say, in 2 more weeks. So right now is really the prime chili picking time that we can go with. The chili variety that we're picking is a paprika type. It's BN14. It's one of Bayad's varieties. Mostly for color extraction purposes. It's very high color. The chili's gone off of the machine into these bulk dump carts. The dump carts will come and dump it into what we call walking floor trailers. These trailers have a series of slats in the bottom of them that move independently forward, and then the unit moves together going back. These carts, as they dump, they're dumping about 3,000 dry pounds at a time.
Once the red chili peppers are harvested, they're sent to a processing facility. Here, they will be cleaned and dried and then shipped to other companies where they will be integrated into specific products.
We contract directly with farmers. We're basically the middleman in the chili industry. We buy it from them, we bring it here at our facility and dehydrate it and process it and prepare it and package it and ship it out to spice companies or color extraction companies throughout the U.S. Once the chili goes into the processing plant, it's graded out by hand, any product, debris, leaves, sticks, or stems, and then it's washed several times throughout the facility, and then it's chopped and sliced and placed on dehydrating trays that go directly into our tunnels and is dehydrated to a certain percent. And then it comes out of the tunnels and it's packaged into pre-packs or packages that are supplied by our providers, and then we ship it directly from here all throughout the country. We currently split it. Half of it is for food consumption and the other half goes for color extraction. And the color extraction is used for food ingredients, food coloring, cosmetics, but mainly for food coloring such as dyes, pepperonis. They use it for a variety of things.